Jay Park stood motionless in his small, cluttered garage, sunlight filtering through dusty windows and casting long shadows across the concrete floor. The bank statement felt heavy in his hands, almost like a physical weight of unexpected possibility. His fingers traced the numbers, confirming what he initially thought was a mistake. 3 months after his divorce from Una, this forgotten joint account was a surprise. They had separated quickly and bitterly, dividing assets with minimal conversation. No one expected this overlooked savings account with a balance that could change everything. The money came from an old investment Una's grandfather had made years ago, quietly growing without either of them paying attention. Jay remembered how her grandfather used to sit in their living room, speaking softly about future planning and financial wisdom. At the time, Jay had only half listened, thinking about car repairs and daily struggles. Now those forgotten conversations meant something entirely different. His small mechanic's workshop seemed to shrink around him. Greasy tools hung on pegboards, half-finished engine parts lay scattered on workbenches, and the smell of motor oil permeated everything. This was his world, simple, predictable, hardworking. But today, something felt different. Jay walked to the small office corner, booted up his old computer, and started researching. Trucks, not just any trucks, but something that would make a statement, something that would represent his newfound freedom and unexpected opportunity. The Ford F-350 caught his eye immediately. Bright red, massive frame, the kind of vehicle that demanded attention. It wasn't just a truck, it was a symbol of transformation. Every specification spoke to Jay. Powerful engine, robust design, room for possibility. He thought about Yuma. She would be furious knowing he was planning to use money from their joint account. Their divorce had been cold, calculated, with minimal emotion. She had taken the apartment. He kept the workshop. They split everything evenly, spoke minimally, and moved on. But this truck, this was different. Jay imagined driving through their small town. People would notice. The mechanics at the local repair shop, the coffee shop regulars, the neighbors who knew every detail of everyone's business. They would see him different, no longer the quiet, reserved man who fixed cars and kept to himself. The bank balance confirmed he could do more than just dream. He could make this happen. His phone buzzed. A text from his best friend. Minho. Coffee later. Jay typed back. Busy. Making a big purchase. Minho's reply was immediate. Another car part. A small smile crossed Jay's face. Something bigger, he responded. The decision crystallized in that moment. He wasn't just buying a truck. He was buying a new chapter of his life. A declaration of independence. A middle finger to the predictable existence he had been living. Outside, the summer heat made the garage feel like an oven. Sweat beaded on Jay's forehead, but he didn't move. The bank statement remained in his hand, a ticket to transformation. Some might call it impulsive. Others might see it as a midlife crisis. But for Jay, this was about reclaiming something he had lost. His sense of self, his ability to make bold choices, his freedom to be unexpected. The truck would cost most of the account's balance. It was extravagant, unnecessary, and absolutely perfect. Jay picked up his keys. The local Ford dealership was only 20 minutes away. He knew exactly what he wanted, and today was the day he would make it happen. As he walked out of the garage, leaving behind the familiar smell of oil and metal, he felt something he hadn't felt in years. Pure, unbridled excitement. The red truck was waiting. And so was his new life. The massive red Ford F-350 rolled into town like a statement of defiance. Joe gripped the steering wheel, feeling the truck's power vibrate through his hands. Every eye seemed to turn as he drove down Main Street, the truck's bright color impossible to ignore. In their small community, everyone knew everyone. Whispers started before he even parked. The mechanics at his old workshop stopped working, their hands frozen mid-repair. Some pointed, some stared, some shook their heads. Minho was the first to approach. You spent all that money on this. he asked, walking around the truck, his hand trailing along the perfect red paint. The truck was bigger than most vehicles in town, towering over the typical sedans and compact cars that usually lined the streets. Jay said nothing. He just smiled. The local coffee shop became ground zero for gossip. Sarah, who worked behind the counter and knew everyone's business, couldn't stop talking. "Did you see Jay's new truck?" she'd ask each customer. After his divorce. Can you believe it? Word traveled fast. By afternoon, Yumna would know. Jay could imagine her reaction. The tight press of her lips, the flash of anger in her eyes. She had always been about careful planning, conservative choices. This truck was everything she wasn't. At the auto repair shop, his former colleagues watched him differently. Where they once saw a quiet, hard-working mechanic, now they saw something else. Confidence, rebellion, a man who had decided to break free from his old life. "That truck costs more than most houses in this town," old Mr. Kim muttered, adjusting his glasses. But there was a hint of respect in his voice. Breaking patterns wasn't easy in their small community. Jay began parking the truck strategically, outside the coffee shop, near the town square, at the local farmers market. Each location became a stage, and the truck was his performance. People started talking about more than just the vehicle. They talked about Ja, the quiet mechanic who suddenly became something more, who had transformed overnight from a background character to the main story. His phone began receiving messages, some curious, some congratulatory, some clearly judgmental. But Jay read them all with the same calm smile. The truck wasn't just transportation. It was a declaration of independence, of survival, of moving forward after a painful divorce. Local women looked at him differently. Where he was once invisible, now he was interesting. The divorced mechanic with the massive red truck became a topic of conversation. Some found it attractive, some found it ridiculous, but nobody ignored him anymore. Yumna heard about the truck within hours, through friends, through gossip, through the invisible network that connected their small town. Her reaction would come. Jay was certain of that. But for now, he enjoyed the moment. The feeling of sitting high above the road, the rumble of the powerful engine, the looks of surprise and curiosity from everyone around him. This wasn't just a truck. This was freedom. This was a new beginning. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the town, Jay drove slowly. Each turn, each acceleration was a statement. No longer would he be the quiet, overlooked mechanic. No longer would he blend into the background. The red truck gleamed under the evening light. A symbol, a promise, a transformation. And Jay was just getting started. The town watched and waited to see what would happen next. The bank manager's call came on a Tuesday morning. Jay knew something was different the moment he heard the formal tone. Numbers, accounts, transfers, legal questions that hung in the air like heavy smoke. Yumna had filed a complaint. Not just a simple disagreement, but a formal legal challenge about the money Jay had used to purchase the truck. The joint account, seemingly forgotten during their divorce, was now center stage in a brewing legal storm. Local law enforcement became curious. Detective Park, no relation to Ja, started asking questions. Small towns meant everyone knew something, and gossip traveled faster than official paperwork. The truck sat in Jay's workshop, a silent witness to the unfolding drama. Its bright red paint seemed to mock the growing tension. Where it once represented freedom, now it symbolized potential legal trouble. Minho became Jay's unexpected support. "We'll figure this out," he said, bringing coffee and sitting beside Jay during long evenings of discussion and strategy. They pored over bank statements, traced fund movements, and tried to understand the complex financial trail. The local courthouse became a second home. Paperwork, meetings, discussions with lawyers who spoke in complicated legal language. Ja listened, trying to understand every word, every potential consequence. Yuna's approach was calculated. She wanted not just the money, but to prove a point. Their divorce might have been concluded, but she wasn't finished making her statement. Each legal document felt like another weapon in her arsenal. Community reactions varied. Some supported Jay, seeing him as a man trying to rebuild his life. Others sided with Yuma, believing the money should be returned. The truck became a symbol of their ongoing conflict. Bank records told a complicated story, investments made years ago, forgotten accounts, money that had grown quietly while their marriage fell apart. Each number became a potential argument, each transaction a potential battleground. Jay's mechanic business started feeling the pressure. Clients whispered. Some jobs became uncomfortable. The legal complications were affecting more than just his personal life. They were threatening his professional reputation. Detective Park visited multiple times. Questions about the account. Questions about the transfer. Questions that felt more like careful investigations than casual conversations. Jay remained calm, providing every document, every piece of information. "I just want to move forward," Jay told his lawyer. The statement was simple but carried significant weight. The truck represented more than a vehicle. It was his attempt to restart his life after a painful divorce. Weeks turned into months. Legal discussions continued. The truck remained parked, a constant reminder of the complicated situation. Its massive red frame seemed to hold both promise and potential trouble. Community dynamics shifted. Friends became careful in their conversations. Some stopped talking to Ja. Others became more supportive. The legal battle was revealing unexpected layers of relationships. Yuna's approach was strategic. She wasn't just fighting for money. She was fighting for control. Each legal document felt calculated, each meeting a carefully planned move in their ongoing conflict. The local courthouse became a stage. Lawyers discussed. Documents were examined. Financial experts provided opinions. What started as a simple account transfer was becoming a complex legal narrative. Jay remained focused. The truck might have started as an act of rebellion, but now it represented something more. His ability to stand ground, his determination to move forward, his refusal to be defined by his past. Minho remained his steady support. Whatever happens, he would say, "We'll handle it together." Those words became Jay's anchor during uncertain times. The legal battle was far from over. But Jay was learning something important. Sometimes fighting for your freedom meant more than just buying a truck. It meant standing your ground, facing complications, and believing in yourself. The red truck waited, a symbol of possibility, a reminder of a journey just beginning. Summer arrived with unexpected fury. Rain started slowly, then transformed into a relentless storm that threatened their small town. Streets began flooding. Water levels rose quickly, turning peaceful roads into dangerous rivers. Jay watched from his workshop window. The massive red truck sat outside, its engine rumbling quietly. Something inside him knew this moment was different. Emergency services were overwhelmed. Local police struggled to navigate the rapidly changing landscape. Smaller vehicles couldn't manage the deep waters. But Jay's Ford F-350 was built for extreme conditions. The first call came from Mrs. Kim, an elderly woman living near the river's edge. Her small house was surrounded by water, cutting her off from help. Traditional rescue vehicles couldn't reach her. Jay didn't hesitate. He started the truck, its powerful engine cutting through the rain's noise. The red vehicle moved like a guardian through flooded streets, water splashing around its massive wheels. Rescue workers watched in surprise as Jay navigated impossible routes. Where smaller vehicles failed, his truck succeeded. He rescued Mrs. Kim, then another family trapped on a small hill, then another, and another. The town watched a transformation happening. The man they had gossiped about, the one with legal troubles and a controversial truck, was now their unexpected hero. Each rescue became a statement. Each saved family changed perceptions. Local emergency coordinator Mr. Park approached Jay during a brief moment of rest. "Your truck might have saved dozens of lives today," he said, genuine respect in his voice. Social media spread the story quickly. Images of the red truck cutting through floodwaters became viral. Local news stations began covering Jay's rescue efforts. The narrative was changing. Yuna heard about the rescues. Her legal battle suddenly seemed small compared to what Jay was doing. The community saw him differently now, not as a man fighting a divorce battle, but as a local hero. Minho helped coordinate rescue efforts. The truck became a critical tool, transporting emergency supplies, medical equipment, and helping stranded residents. Its size, once seen as excessive, was now a critical advantage. Rescue workers dubbed the truck the Red Guardian. Each trip through flooded streets became a mission of hope. Jay remained calm, focused, treating each rescue as a necessary task. Local hospitals received critical supplies because of Jay's truck. Emergency medical teams used it to reach areas other vehicles couldn't. What was once a symbol of personal rebellion became a community lifeline. Children began recognizing the truck. "There goes the Red Guardian," they would shout. Parents told stories of how the truck and its driver had helped during the worst flood in decades. As waters receded, the community gathered. A small ceremony honored local heroes. Jay stood quietly, the massive red truck behind him. He wasn't seeking recognition, but the community demanded he be acknowledged. The legal complications seemed distant now. The truck that was once a point of controversy was now a symbol of community strength. Perceptions had shifted completely. Yuna watched the news coverage. The man she had divorced was now being celebrated. Her legal challenges suddenly felt insignificant compared to his community service. Emergency coordinators requested detailed information about the truck. Its performance during the flood had been exceptional. Jay's modifications and maintenance had made it a perfect rescue vehicle. Local mechanics looked at Jay with new respect. The truck they had once criticized was now a model of reliability and strength. Professional judgments had transformed overnight. As evening fell, Jay parked the truck. Mud-splattered, water-marked, but unbroken. It stood as a testament to unexpected heroism. A vehicle that represented more than personal rebellion. It represented community spirit. The red truck had become more than a purchase. It was now a legend. And Jay Park was no longer just a mechanic. He was a local hero. The courtroom felt different this time. Where previous hearings had been tense and confrontational, today carried a sense of resolution. Jay sat quietly. The flood rescue reports spread across the table beside his lawyer. Yuna entered. Her demeanor changed. The aggressive stance she had maintained during previous legal battles had softened. The community's perception of Jay had transformed everything. Judge Martinez reviewed the documents carefully. The flood rescue reports were compelling. Jay's actions during the emergency had not just saved lives, they had rebuilt his reputation. What began as a controversial truck purchase had become a community salvation story. The legal settlement took shape differently than anyone expected. Instead of a financial punishment, the court recognized Jay's community service. The money from the joint account was partially returned, but not completely. His flood rescue efforts were considered significant community contribution. Minho sat in the back, watching with quiet pride. The mechanic who was once gossiped about was now being celebrated. Small towns had their own ways of measuring a person's worth, and Jay had passed every test. Local media coverage played a crucial role. Images of the red truck rescuing families, cutting through dangerous flood waters, had changed public narrative. Yuna's legal challenge now looked petty compared to Jay's heroism. The settlement included a unique condition. Jay would receive partial ownership of the contested funds, with the understanding that he would continue community emergency preparedness work. The truck, once a symbol of personal rebellion, was now officially recognized as a community emergency vehicle. Neighbors who had previously whispered about Jay now approached him with respect. Mrs. Kim, the elderly woman he had first rescued, brought him homemade cookies. Other rescued families shared similar gestures of gratitude. The auto repair shop where Jay worked offered him a leadership role in emergency vehicle maintenance. His experience during the flood had demonstrated skills beyond standard mechanical work. Professional opportunities were opening up. Yuna's perspective had transformed completely. The anger from their divorce had been replaced by a reluctant respect. She recognized that Jay had become something more than she had ever imagined. Local emergency coordinators began consulting Jay about vehicle modifications for rescue operations. His mechanical expertise, combined with his flood rescue experience, made him an unexpected expert. The red truck remained a central character in this transformation. What was once a controversial purchase was now a symbol of hope. Its massive frame represented more than personal rebellion. It symbolized community resilience. Community meetings began discussing emergency preparedness. Jay found himself at the center of these discussions, sharing insights from his flood rescue experiences. The quiet mechanic had become a local leader. Financial settlements were reached smoothly. The legal battle that had seemed insurmountable months ago now felt like a distant memory. Justice had found its own unique path. Min-ho celebrated with a simple dinner. Who would have thought, he told Jay, that a truck purchase would change everything? They laughed, understanding the irony of their journey. The town had witnessed a complete transformation. A personal conflict had evolved into a story of community strength. Jay's journey from a divorced mechanic to a local hero was complete. As evening fell, Jay parked the red truck outside his workshop. It was more than a vehicle now. It was a testament to personal growth, community service, and unexpected redemption. The legal battle was over, but Jay's real journey was just beginning. The red truck stood as a silent witness, a symbol of transformation, hope, and unexpected heroism.